Evening, everybody. The final frontier of our weekend Festival of European Rugby. Last stop, the Stoop, where an unfamiliar Quins side will look to carry the club's Premiership momentum and form into this round of 16. Ulster, an opponent that Quins haven't beaten in 13 long years. Eddie Jones continues on his travels, and here's a look at the sides for you. Quins have decided to rest a host of frontliners. They're captained for only the second time by Tom Lauday. There's some experience in that front row, Garcia Botta, Elia and Collier, and some inexperienced in academy men, Jack Kenningham on the open side and Hammond and Tizard at lock. As regards their back division, Scott Steele is back from Scotland duty. Brett Herron starts at number 10 against his former club as Marcus Smith gets a weekend off. Lasike and Lang offering international quality at centre, and the back three's given something of a makeover as well, but no lack of threat or indeed pace. By contrast, Ulster include most of their big names with the exception of Coetzee and Henderson, both unavailable. Herring's back from the Six Nations. Kieran Treadwell is a former Harlequins man. Geordie Murphy, the skipper this week, and Nick Timoney charged with taking up some of that ball carrying usually associated with Marcel Coetzee at number 8. The backs look settled. John Cooney and Billy Burns now well established at 9 and 10, and the centres, McCluskey and Hume, blending nicely. Jacob Stockdale returns to club colours on the left wing, Robert Balakoon occupying the right, and Michael Lowry moving from fly half to fullback. At first sight, the Quins bench has a green tinge, but Kerrod, Tapuai and Chisholm are not in that bracket. They've all got points to prove, sitting outside the first choice 15 at the moment. Ulster have plenty of know-how as well, with the likes of Andrew and Mathewson and Madigan, of course, as well. So we're good to go. It's a beautiful evening. The pitch is looking in great shape, and Ulster arrive here to break unfamiliar ground. This is their first outing in the Challenge Cup. 25 long years of top-flight European rugby, but now facing a rather different challenge. Their outlook today, I suspect, Rory, shaped by the frustration of having seen the Pro 14 abbreviated in the fashion that it was, leaving no room for the playoffs, the traditional playoffs, and they were left out in the cold despite a pretty decent campaign.
Yeah, Ali, good evening, and it is a fine evening for it. But yeah, Ulster were frustrated. I know Ulster and Connacht were both frustrated. They talked about how they felt they should have been in a playoff. They'd done enough to be in a playoff, but the COVID has thrown up a lot of different things, and unfortunately that wasn't the way it is. And this is a new competition, and I think this is a competition that they feel that they can really express themselves in.
Motivation certainly high for European success from the visitors. Quins just maybe adopting a rather different approach, Danny. They're loading their Easter eggs firmly into the Gallagher Premiership basket tonight, where, of course, they've seen their fortunes transformed over the last few weeks. Fourth in the table, going so well, and primed for assault on that title once Europe is out of the way. But I guess the big question, can this group of Quins players drag that momentum and that form into Europe?
Yeah, good evening, Ali. Yeah, we certainly hope so. Some guys with a point to prove, some guys that haven't played any rugby for a long stretch of time, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how they get on.
Blast on the whistle from Roman Pwet, and we're good to go. Ball taken in just inside the 22 by the birthday boy, James Lang, in that outside centre shirt this evening. No Joe Marchant, no Esther Hazen. It is a slightly different feel and look to this Quins team. And Scott Steele enjoyed his time with Scotland in the Six Nations, sends it up. What a good kick that is. Really good chase as well from Northmore.
Quins back.
Not too much that Lowry could have done different there, and they're pinned on their 10-metre line, Ulster. John Cooney, masterful last season in the Champions Cup. Another well-weighted box kick. That's gone forwards from Quins. And we will have the first scrum of the game, so a little bit of caginess a little bit of territorial kicking in that middle third.
Yeah, I think two teams sounding each other out, both Scott Steele and John Cooney. One currently playing for their international team for Scotland in Scott Steele, and one who probably could be playing for Ireland. So yeah, really interesting battle, I think, head to head tonight, and both with two great kicks to get off the camp.
Cooney, ball in hand, on fire in Europe last season. So Brett Heron. Former Harlequins man, making good ground as well. Taking play up to that 22-metre line.
Amish, we're outside,
Just seen here, Scott Steele, this guy loves to get his hands on a ruck. He loves to put his head in places which I wouldn't dream of going. And a great turnover and a great attacking position now for Quins on the 22.
Just the kind of thing that you were earmarking at the start of this contest. Forward in a scrum half's body. That's Harlequins firing forwards through Paul Lasike. Going to see a fair bit of that tonight. Certainly if Quins go well, we should. This is Kenningham on the ball. Sets it up nicely. Steele onwards to Lauday. Harlequins playing a real lick in these early exchanges. Roman Poit will brook no contest at the breakdown. He will be smart on anybody infringing. Kenningham again in that first receiver position, wrestling with Reedy. And Heron looking to put a bit of width on it. Tyrone Green held on the 22. Burns to the 4 defensively. Lauday making a decent dent. Running into Marty Moore. Once more, it's Kenningham, 21-year-old from the academy, making his European debut tonight. Lasike head down and driving hard. Geordie Murphy does well to bring him to the ground. Good continuity here from Quins. Garcia Botta is the next man up. And here's Nathan Earl, trying to use the footwork to evade those red-shirted defenders. That's a little bit ambitious from Heron. Just a tiny bit too much on it, Danny, but that was promising from a Harlequins perspective.
Yeah, great ball discipline. The forwards getting through a mountain of work there. Tommy Lauday especially with great carries. Paul Lasike, that's what we want to see. We want to see Paul Lasike taking the ball flat to the line and denting this Ulster line. Unfortunately, the ball just goes out of play, out of the grass for Luke Northmore. But good opening stages from Harlequins.
All eyes then beginning to settle on Rob Herring. And the Ulster line out inside their 22. Ireland's first choice hooker at the moment, and the ball secured very effectively by Alan O'Connor. And Ulster go to work, and the ball has been sacked, and the visitors will clear their lines with a degree of comfort.
Yeah, I think the ball is something that Ulster will want to go to a lot. They've used it a lot since Dan McFarlane come in, and it's a great way to exit. A simple ball in the middle, set them all up, and unfortunately Harlequins had to infringe, and that has let Billy Burns get a nice clearing kick away.
Decent nudge from Burns. He's taken it all the way to the 10-metre line. Give us a little flavour of the importance of Alan O'Connor, particularly tonight, Rory, given that Ian Henderson is not available.
I think Alan O'Connor is somebody that's really stepped into that leadership role. He came as somebody that wasn't wanted by the Leinster Academy. He came with a bit of a chip on his shoulder, and he plays that way, and he has been fantastic for Ulster over the last few years, and they'll need him tonight.
Harlequin setting the target just a moment or two ago as Ulster worked that 15-metre channel. Lowry head down, swallowed up in the tackle by Earl. was a good carry from Nick Timoney. He's got a big job to do tonight with Marcel Coetzee also out of action as the ball is transferred to McCluskey.
Back, Quins.
Hume tries to pick and go through the middle. Harlequins alive to that threat.
Stay there.
Cooney. Burns floats one over the top out wide, and making some space here for Stockdale. Lowry's there in support up to the 22. Great continuity this from Ulster, driven up by Kieran Treadwell, former Quins man. Burns. O'Connor. Kenningham just having a little sniff there, but having to back away. And McCluskey driving hard into those
Take your boys back.
black shirts. Cooney. Options to the short side. Here's Balakoon ripping infield and driving hard towards the line. He's done really well. And Ulster are knocking hard on the door, and they will batter it down. And the first try is theirs, and the first try belongs to Stuart McCluskey. Ulster taking their one shot and taking it very, very effectively, Rory.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Billy Burns was instrumental in this play. You see just the end there, a pass to Rob Balakoon, who nearly gets away to score himself. And then just that quick ball. I think when your defence is disorganised, it's really difficult, and Stuart McCluskey just a really good option to John Cooney. But I think if Harlequins are going to let Billy Burns settle in and pull the strings and throw passes the way he's been doing so far, it could be a long evening.
Yeah, great mixture between using the backs and using the forwards there, with McCluskey and Hume, the centres stepping up for big carries, and unfortunately Quins just running out of numbers there, and probably weren't as quick to set on the defensive line as we could. But no, a very well worked try from Ulster.
John Cooney, whose success rate from the tee is exceptional as always, the highest point scorer in the recently concluded Pro 14 season. And Ulster 7 points up after 8 minutes, and burying their opportunity in clinical style. Balakoon has been very, very strong for them in recent weeks. Had nasty hamstring problem, didn't he? Back end of the summer, surgery in August. Come back strong, setting up the field position nicely.
Back, Quins, back. Back.
Heron. Reedy.
Inside. Away. Use it.
Starting to open things up. Kick pass from Billy Burns. Very nearly got a hold of that. Jacob Stockdale just asking a little bit too much of him, but the idea was a nice one.
Yeah, I think he might have been about 3 yards offside when he went to kick the ball there. But it's great to see them trying different things. You know, obviously trying to set up to the box kick. But then this is what Billy Burns has got. He's a bag of tricks. And one shout to John Cooney, the ball comes out and he tries a crossfield kick. Fortunately for Harlequins, didn't work on this occasion. Good opportunity for Quins now to get back in this game.
Seven. You are in.
This line-out battle should be a really good one.
Yeah, we are 7.
Quins' best line-out stats in the Gallagher Premiership, and Ulster the best in the Pro 14. It's there for Quins, but they made a bit of a mess of it. And the knock-on then hitting the man in front, and the offside line breached.
Why did you jinx them?
No,
sorry about that, Danny. Just trying to give people a little flavour of something to hold on to through the course of this contest. It should be one of those battles that we really enjoy through the course of the night. And of course, Quins with these two youngsters in the second row, Hugh Tizard and George Hammond, who played a lot together, but they are making their way at the age of just 20 and 21.
Red, please.
Big opportunity for them, Danny. I mean, you've spoken about some of these players not having had any rugby. There hasn't been any rugby for them to be involved in. So this is gold dust tonight for those guys, isn't it?
This is huge. Look, to play against a giant like Ulster at home, Sunday night, you know, in a huge European Cup game. This is massive for the likes of Hugh Tizard, who looks like a young Sammy Hippier, the ex-Liverpool defender.
Yeah, he does.
And George Hammond. This is amazing to go up against a pack like Ulster. So yeah, they're going to be relishing every second of this.
So Ulster back in
back 10.
the opposition half. Ball secured by Timoney. Cooney fires it away. Charging upfield to good effect beyond the gain line, beyond the 10-metre line. Here's Murphy. Hair flying. Cooney to Treadwell.
Offside 2.
Into Kenningham. They're playing with a penalty advantage. Quinn's throwing offside. Bruising run from Moore. Burns. McCluskey did well to hold that initial attempt at the offload. Burns gets it away to Stockdale. Driven back this time, Eric O'Sullivan, but Ulster not going
number 9 and number 10.
upfield in any meaningful fashion. So back for the penalty, very much within the Cooney range, and just building patiently at the moment. Rory?
Yeah, I think this is something you'll see a lot from Ulster. You'll see Jacob Stockdale, Stuart McCluskey, they'll set targets, they'll come really tight round the corner, or they're pick and goes or little passes off Cooney, and they'll try to reload that blind side again and try to get the likes of Jacob Stockdale, Michael Lowry coming back down that blind side, hopefully against some of the tighter forwards for Harlequins.
Cooney then setting up for the penalty attempt. Last season's European Champions Cup campaign was just stellar for this man. Man of the match in round 1 against Bath, a late penalty to beat Quins in round 3. Man of the match against Quins again in round 4. Trying the quarter-final against Toulouse. He was almost unstoppable at the time. He's had another good season, perhaps not quite hit the same heights. But the quality of the goal kicking does not change. Absolutely instrumental to this team, Rory Best.
Oh, massively. And I think coming to back off lockdown, he probably struggled a little bit for a couple of games, and I think it's probably the standard he set over the last 24 months since signing for Ulster, that 2 or 3 bad games and people questioned him, and it shows the mental character he has to come back, and he is back into form again.
Ball is lost for a minute there by Treadwell. They'll have it thanks to Geordie Murphy.
Stay on.
Cooney testing out Tyrone Green, who's playing fullback tonight, commanding in the air on that occasion. He's been on the wing for the most part for Harlequins. That's gone forwards, slightly loose from Elia, asking quite a lot of Jack Kenningham that time. But I know, Danny, you'll be happy to see the way Tyrone Green came tearing in to take that one.
Oh yeah, eyes on the ball. One thing on his mind there was getting up in front of everyone else. This, for any kids at home, that's how you go and get a high ball. And then, yeah, just slightly disappointing, a little bit loose off that, forcing an offload where it probably wasn't on. And just playing into Ulster's hands here, really feeding their game at the moment, which is disappointing for us.
Made a big impact since arriving from South Africa, Tyrone Green. 4 tries in 5 starts. And, of course, a shirt number that is all too topical at the moment.
Mine.
On account of Mike Brown's announcement of his departure. And if Tyrone Green can go well tonight,
Remind the first one.
wearing 15, then who knows what might be possible across the next couple of seasons as Mr. Brown heads north.
Yeah, look, there's some big shoes to fill next season with Brownie leaving to go to Newcastle. And what a legacy he's left in this 15 shirt here at the Stoop. But Tyrone is an incredibly exciting young talent. Him, Lewis Liner as well, another young boy. Aaron Morris as well. We've got some strength in depth there, but they've been learning from, for me, the very best that the Premiership has had. So, yeah, big shoes to fill.
Cooney from the base. Burns running onto the ball, afforded quite a lot of room as they pour forwards here. Stockdale to the boot. Across comes Northmore. And power in the contact as well. Another one who's made big strides this season, Luke Northmore. Tizard sets it up. Steele, Heron, Lang. pursuit of this, alongside Archie White. Oh, that's just off the fingertips of Burns. Slightly late decision to try and gather that so low down. I guess significantly, really, the important thing there, the hang time that Steele managed to get, Danny.
Yeah, you look for a scrum half box kick now. You're looking around the 4 to 5 seconds for hang time. And these balls, these European balls, do fly a little bit nicer. You can get a little bit more punch on them and hang them up a little bit. And a little bit of a sidewinder there from Scott Steele. Whether he's meant that or not, he'll claim he has, definitely. But yeah, great opportunity now for Quins to try and assert some dominance. I'd like to say I know what's going to happen in this scrum, but I think we should probably pass over to Rory.
Just to make sure a little bit.
I'm not really much wiser, Danny, to be honest. I don't think the ref is either, so we'll see what happens.
Patience before the last one, please.
We're well covered. We have all the bases covered. I tell you what, Scott Steele's probably delighted he's wearing 9 tonight as well, because Scotland had him all over the park, didn't they? They had him on the flank at one point. He played on the wing a good bit. So a lovely little picture that he posted of himself in relation to the Lions needing versatile utility players.
Yeah, he can cover every single position, but yeah, look at him. He's probably 85 kilos, but plays like he's about 120. Loves the physical side of the game. So happy for him to get his shot in a Scotland shirt. And it was only about a year ago that I think he was released by London Irish and struggled for a club, and he's come to Quins, and above all else, he's a brilliant lad. He's fitted in brilliantly and really took at his opportunity.
Fine.
It's a free kick that's gone Ulster's way.
Yes.
And this could be a testing area for Quins tonight. The Ulster pack has gone really well in the set piece domestically.
It's coming in.
And of course, an all-international front row, Eric O'Sullivan earning his Irish debut against the Scots back in December.
Please, Quins. I just told you.
Herring and Moore have been at this game for a long old while now.
Simple and easy. First one was great. Keep work about it.
Hardly surprising. They want some more of it, Rory.
Yeah, you know what the front rows are like. They just can't help themselves. It slows the game down a little bit. But no, it'll be. There's been Ulster by and large at scrum time this season have been good when they've the front line on. When they've had to make changes, they've struggled a little bit. And Dan McFarland has made some big calls, bringing people off reasonably early if the scrum doesn't go well. So I think the guys in there understand their role, and they know how much pressure there is, and they know what Dan expects of them.
They're also going to have to mind their P's and Q's, aren't they, with Romain Poit, because historically he's a bit of a stickler at scrum time, and you have to listen.
Absolutely, and I think it's good. Romain Poit is one that most definitely wants the game to get on, and he'll make a strong decision, and he'll make it early. He'll not let the game disintegrate because of all the scrums.
Important to set that tone early. Make sure that you're painting all the right pictures. To the referee, who did his level best to get in the way of John Cooney's pass. Here is Balakoon now. Great work from Lauday. Yeah, he's secured the ball, it's gone forwards.
First, after the good contest, and second.
I think that was a strange one from Romain Poit. I think that to me looked like a stone cold penalty.
It's just the difference there between Romain Poit saying, you know, you took the ball, but you want a penalty all day long there. You want a penalty so you can get some field position. So yeah, slightly disappointing there. Tommy Lauday, great over the ball, great turnover, but yeah, maybe on another day we might have got a penalty there. Harlequins might have got a penalty there.
Yeah, we got to lose the we. Sorry. Just for today. Be fine tomorrow. Back to the day job.
Crunch. Fine. Set.
Nice straight feed from Scott Steele. And on account of the front rowers heading to ground, Ulster win the penalty. It's Will Collier who's been singled out. First start of the season for Collier. He's had a horrible time with injuries.
3, please be accurate with your binding.
Decent ground gains.
Under the pressure. I thought 2-3
outskirts of the 22.
About this binding, but clearly
chance to build again in a meaningful part of the field. Good claim by Timoney. Strong drive from the visitors. Making strides inside the 22. It's with Herring. Cooney eyes up. McCluskey hit early by Lasike. Read that really well. Reedy into Elia. Treadwell. Quinn's holding firm here for the moment. Burns quickly onwards from McCluskey. Lovely offloading from Hume to Lowry. Stockdale sets it up again. Moore. Steady progress. Here's O'Sullivan on the rumble. Burns. Floated away for Balakoon. Plenty to do here. Cover coming across. Lovely footwork. That looked a bit high in the tackle from Steele. And Reedy finds his way into touch, but they'll have the penalty here, Ulster.
Yeah, and it all started from that maul, and I think it is really important for this Ulster team. They do want the game to get loose. They want to try to grind down this young, inexperienced Harlequins pack, and there's no better way to do it than a good maul.
Yeah, it's hardly a serial offender, you would suspect, Scott Steele, but we know the zero tolerance that all the officials are using over those sorts of tackles now, and this is a wonderful opportunity for Ulster, who are sniffing a second try of the night. Timoney at the heart of things. Herring with one or two options here. Quinn struggling to handle this. Herring crashing forwards and over, and that is try number 2. Once again, very efficient in the red zone, and they're extending their lead through their international hooker.
Yeah, it was a great setup, and they'd showed in the previous maul that they can do, and just looked at Sean Reedy here dropping his height at the corner, just allows that maul to keep going, and there really was a bit of an air of inevitability about it once they got set. Like all good hookers at the back, doing all the hard work.
Well, he's been at the heart of everything good from Ulster and indeed Ireland in recent times. A couple of tries in the defeat to Toulouse back in December, but they're setting a really nice platform here now, Ulster, and significantly seizing their opportunities. Ulster lead Harlequins at the Stoop after 23 minutes. And we can have a word now with Nick Evans, who's a part of the coaching staff with Quins. Nick, obviously, you'll be unhappy seeing the scoreboard. How you think your lot are faring? You've got a number of youngsters on display tonight, particularly in the pack.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it's a big learning curve for these guys. You know, they haven't played for a while, and it's an opportunity for them to take this opportunity. Obviously, we're our own worst enemy there. You know, 2 scrum opportunities on our ball. You know, I think we want to try and open the game up as much as we can, but not allow Ulster to control it through a set-piece game. So that was our own worst. Our own worst enemy there.
And as regards the specifics inside the 22 as well, we've seen how efficient Ulster have been in their entries. What's the message regarding trying to shut down that threat?
Discipline, mate. Discipline. You know, we've got to make sure that we don't give opportunities to get in there, and the easiest way of doing that is through penalties. So, you know, if we can control that part of the game, then we can control our ball.
Thanks for your time, Nick.
No worries.
Sounds easy, Danny.
Yeah, sounds easy. Yeah, I think we're losing the penalty count 5-1 at the moment. So I think myself and Rory spoke off camera. With Romain Poit, you want to get on his good side early doors, and Quins definitely haven't done that. So, especially a couple of our own Quins line at a scrum ball. So yeah, opposition ball here, Ulster ball, and Quins will need a solid base because we want Will Collier back in Romain Poit's good books.
One red, we work together, okay?
Rose! Second! Go in!
Crunch! Bind! Set!
Cooney, Burns, McCluskey, Stockdale opening up on that flank, threads it forwards, good chase on here. Cooney is sizing it up, but Northmore does well again. Full of energy, isn't he, Northmore? He's done a very good job for Quins at the back.
Yeah, Lukey Northmore, great covering that. I really like the simplicity of Ulster's play, though. Just get the ball in the wide channels. Jacob Stockdale's got a brilliant left foot, and then put the pressure back on Quins. And unfortunately, again, another penalty. Great play from Ulster. They're playing rugby in the right part of the pitch at the moment.
Good awareness from Jacob Stockdale. Plenty of space back there. And he did well with the follow-up as well, didn't he? Lauday caught, and as a consequence, Ulster poised 5 metres out.
On the line. Even you,
Quins on red alert. As Alan O'Connor goes up, and here comes the drive. Quins know exactly what's coming. Herring, hungry for work, hungry for tries, but this time it's Sean Reedy. And Ulster have 3. And that driving game from close range is proving very, very hard to stop.
It definitely is. I think Rob Herring will be a little bit gutted that Sean Reedy didn't do what he's supposed to and pass the ball back to him. But I think it just comes from that setup. If you look at the work that Kieran Treadwell and Alan O'Connor are doing at the front of that maul, staying secure, it gives a rock-solid platform that Ulster can get going on. And unfortunately, again, it just looked from the offset that they were going to go over the line.
Well, what could Quins do? What could Quins do in this situation? If Ulster do have a bit of dominance there, is there anything they can do technique-wise to stop this?
I think the first thing they're doing is right. They're not going up, they're not competing. They've got to try to break the front of that maul. They can't let Kieran Treadwell get locked into Alan O'Connor and just let Ulster set behind that. They've got to find a way to almost splinter those two, because if you can splinter those two, the maul kind of dissipates a bit. If Ulster are allowed to get a spearhead to that maul, then it is really, really difficult to stop. And when you have a referee that's on you a little bit on penalty count, it's a really difficult position for Harlequins to be in.
Three entries into the Harlequins 22, 3 tries, 24 points. Sort of statistics that will have Dan McFarlane purring.
Again.
Looking like a long old night for Harlequins at this point. Reedy, the try scorer, accelerates up towards the 22.
Back. Use it! Back in.
Another tester for Green. Yet again, passes that test with flying colours. Here's Archie White to Elia. Quins just needing to settle a little bit and get some time, ball in hand, which they have now. Green does well to cling on to that one from Lang.
Back red.
Tizard driven back in the tackle. Very aggressive defending from Marty Moore and friends. Here's Elia again.
No, we play on.
Trying to work his way round to deliver the ball, but it's been stolen, I think, by Ulster.
Leave it now!
No. Had it for a minute. Still seems to be some debate about exactly who's able to handle that. And Roman finally decides that actually that was Ulster who were messing with it, and Steelers away, passing it on to Kenningham. Heron, Lang, fires into the 22, still going Lang. Strong stuff. Short side, Steele. Oh, and Balakoon in the way, and Nathan Earl could do nothing. And a disappointing end for Quins to what was really much more promising, Danny.
Yeah, great bit of tempo. Scott Steele loves a quick tap. And Harlequins, it's what we love to do, what we're renowned for. So really need to get a bit of tempo into the game. I think unfortunately just passed it into, I think, one of Ulster's men, but we'll get a line out here on the 5 metre line. But yeah, Scott Steele just trying to be that spark for Quins.
I think it'd be, I'd love to know where Robert Balakoon actually came from. He didn't overly look onside.
Please, Quins.
Il n'y a rien du tout, Romain.
Quins.
Well, there was certainly a pathway
Stay as you are.
blocked as far as that final pass was concerned. Quins now with the line out, 5 metres out. Can they dish out a little bit of Ulster's own medicine? The ball claimed really well, athletically, one-handed. And now they can try to get the drive on through Elia at the tail.
Same old.
Driving hard here. Here's Elia spiralling forwards. Quins desperately needing to convert here. Another penalty advantage. Hammonds.
Please, 6.
And there's going to be a card here for... Well, it's Geordie Murphy who's being sent to the bin. And
9.
looking
You look
like a
after
case
the
of
ball and the
desperate
play,
times,
not
calling
the
for desperate
referee.
measures, Rory.
Okay. Please, Captain,
Yeah,
twice
I think
I have to talk
there's
to you
desperation
guys,
and there's
okay?
just a little bit of stupidity, I think.
Time on.
Obviously, Geordie felt that the ball was there to
That's a
go for
tackle
it, but
by 2.
Ramon Flat rightly disagreed.
No.
So with a man advantage, Tizard set this one up. Quins needing the kind of clinical execution that their opponents have shown so far tonight. Rummaging forwards.
Number 3.
Lorde,
Leave it.
he's had to feed it back. Steele. Heron dancing forwards and then tackled well by Reedy. Onwards they go now through Northmore.
On the line. On the line, 5. No.
So easy to get white line fever from this sort of range. Very, very close with that little surge. Elia has stopped.
And again, number 4.
One more effort. There they go. Finally found a way through.
Red captain. Okay.
And at the bottom of it all, the skipper, Tom Lorde. How Quins needed
Just
that.
be careful, people who are
Yeah,
with
I
full
think
support.
a lot of
outside.
shunt and
Number
grunt
4,
there.
number 8,
Great
number
to get
9.
over at the end. I think you saw this Exeter Chiefs tap penalty that people are trying now. Every team seems to be adopting it. Rather than taking a scrum or kicking to the corner for a line out, just take a quick tap, keep the ball in tight, grind the defence down and get over the line. So great for Quins to get back into this game. And hopefully 7 points after a kick from Brett Heron.
That policy, Danny, which we've seen so much more of, particularly this season, is that because ultimately the end game of the catch and drive usually looks something like that?
I think so, yeah.
So you're just kind of cutting short the process a little
Exactly, unless you're Ulster and they're that good at driving mauls, they would probably choose to go to the corner, but I think Quins there with Ulster, probably knowing that Ulster maybe have a little bit of dominance in the set piece, before let's keep it tight, let's grind them down and just keep the ball up the jumper, old school, get the points.
Precious
Beautiful
points.
rugby, beautiful rugby.
Wasn't it just?
Simple.
They'll be talking about it for years and years. Well, it was really important, wasn't it, from Harlequins' perspective, that they had something to show for their efforts, just to ask 1 or 2 difficult questions of Ulster, who've had most things their own way so far tonight. Balakoon doing his level best, but that's gone presumably forwards off his hands. So Quins here.
Use it, Quins!
Looking for territory from the boot of Steele. In comes Lowry. Takes it nicely and there's space in front of him. Lowry at high speed. Look at the gas on Mike Lowry. Into the corner. Lightning. Absolute lightning.
Yeah, maybe ask Danny to come in on this. I don't think I've ever ran that fast in my life.
Oh, wow. I think sometimes you've just got to sit back and applaud that. Firstly, the take, with some traffic coming, some big heavies coming to try and knock his head off. He has taken the ball and then just absolutely backed himself shown a clean pair of wheels to Scott Steele, unfortunately, but brilliant try, great ambition, and just great backing yourself.
Yeah, it's an area of the game that probably a couple of years ago when Ulster asked Michael Lowry to play at fullback, he's worked really hard on, is just getting onto that high ball, and you can see him, his eyes for nothing except the ball, and when he lands, then it's what can he do, and pretty special is the answer.
Remarkable. I mean, the acceleration was the thing, wasn't it? It was one thing to claim the ball and work through quite a small space, but then the gas. Wow.
Cheslin Colby-esque, wasn't it? He's got the scrum at, and then he's got the gas as well. But yeah, I love it when you see a back three player go and command the ball and then just back themselves.
First miss of the night for Cooney, but Ulster responding to Quinn's try with their fourth of the night, and it was a special one. Scott Steele, who is no slouch, rinsed.
Yeah, I'd like to say I'd be able to tackle him, Ali, but no, he'd have made it look even easier, I think, on the pitch.
That was stunning.
We are inside.
29 points to 7.
Use it,
and of course with Geordie Murphy in the bin as well. Every point whilst down a man seems extra special. Cooney with the clearance. So there had to be a little bit of a mindset shift, Rory, on account of competing in the Challenge Cup for so long. Obviously in the top flight of Europe, it means so much to the club as a whole. There'll be one or two players in the Ulster ranks who'll be, you know, a bit disgruntled that they're having to play it out in the second tier, but this represents an opportunity, I guess, to actually win some silverware.
Yeah, I think it massively does. I think they look at it as that opportunity to win something. I think I would have liked to have seen Ulster keep the core of their team with their senior players, but maybe introduce a couple of the younger academy guys to incorporate them, to come to somewhere like Harlequins, which is not an easy place to go and play well and win and see what they're about.
Quinn's looking to finish this half strong. Heron, nice show of the ball. Nathan Earl cut down by Burns. Steele looking to bring in Garcia Botta. Earl again, nicely inside from Hammond. Cully.
Okay, backwards.
Heron. Green. Wants to go around the outside of Hume. He's done a really good job of it as well, but then it's like that pass was just slightly forwards.
Just saw a little glimpse of Tyrone Green's feet there as well. From literally no space at all. He just gets on the outside. Unfortunately, just throws it forward, but glimpses of the great footwork that Tyrone possesses.
Yeah, I think that was a pity, because Harlequins were really building something there. They're getting a bit of joy coming back down the blind sides against Ulster. I think they're going to have to keep the pace in the game. That's where they're getting. That's where they're getting the real benefit. And as you say, Tyrone Green getting on the end there.
Crutch.
Jacob Stockdale.
Fine.
Just showing that he's multi-skilling on the flank in the absence of Geordie Murphy. Too many picks. McCluskey. Seconds or so of this first half remaining.
Use it, right.
Cooney, it's gone really high. And it's been allowed to bounce. It's been picked up by Earl, but it's gone forwards from Quinn's. There'll be one last shot here for Ulster as we head to the break. Good to see Nathan Earl back again. Danny, we know the talent that he has, and the speed, the balance, the vision as well, but he needs a run of games, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He had a horrific injury 18 months ago now, got back from that, and then unfortunately did an ankle and was out for another 3 months. So brilliant to see Nathan back up and running. I think he possesses something a little bit different to the other wingers at Harlequins, but also at England. He has got out-and-out gas, but he has got absolute power as well. So yeah, it'd be great to see him get a run of games.
A horrible injury, the ACL that took him out for the best part of a year, wasn't it? Someone who's been on the England radar at various different moments.
I can understand it was unstable, but please we go quickly, okay?
Argentina with England in 2017 when the Lions were on.
Yeah, that's the right one. Okay, no pre-engage. Have a space.
Towards South Africa as well with England in 2018, but still uncapped. Who knows what might be possible with a good spell injury-free and playing in a Quins outfit that's winning.
Exactly that. His fiancée is expecting a baby any minute soon as well, so hopefully he doesn't dash off the pitch. But yeah, I've been telling him to get his sleep in now, because that is about to end.
Wise words. Said with feeling. Timony for Ulster beyond halfway, clock in the red, and Billy Burns will take us to half-time. 40 minutes in which Ulster have been almost entirely dominant. Quins with 1 try through Tom Lauday, Ulster with 4. McCluskey, Cooney, Reedy, and best of the night, a really special effort from Michael Lowry. Fabulous acceleration, something to take the breath away. Half-time at the Stoop, Harlequins 7, Ulster 29. Some absolute screamers to look forward to next weekend, aren't they? They really are. And the Challenge Cup shaping up pretty nicely as well at the moment. Ulster more than on course to take on Saints at Franklin's Gardens in the quarterfinals, unless Quins can somehow find a way to turn this around. But it's looking like a daunting task at this point. My eyes are drawn to the bench, where Harlequins have a young man called Matas Jurvicius. And I'm just wondering when it might be time to introduce a man like that, with a name like that, on an occasion like this, Danny.
Yeah, he is vicious. He's a guy that runs hard and hits hard. So yeah, hopefully he can get him on, get his first cap, which will be an invaluable experience for him. It's unbelievable.
Here's Tyrone Green. Oh, he thought he was away, but unfortunately being called back for the knock-on. This time Green wasn't able to take it first time up. He's fielded a couple of excellent balls in the backfield previously, but not that time. And Ulster will have this scrum to start to go to work again and extend their lead, put this well beyond sight. I mean, joking apart, Danny, what is it that you think Quins can do at this point? What are the various different elements of their game they can go about trying to shore up a little bit.
Yeah, I think Rory said it in the first half. I think we've got to play quick, we've got to play smart, got to play quick, got to move this big Ulster pack around. It looks like they've got a lot more experience in their pack, a little bit more physical bruteness. So we've got to try and work them around a little bit. Stay in the fight, key to stay in the fight. But this experience for some of these guys that haven't played for a long time is going to be absolutely invaluable.
Back, Queens. Use it, Red.
Cooney to the air. Harlequins chasing hard. This is Clone just outside the 22.
Use it. Outside. Use it. Quickly now, quickly.
This is a caterpillar that's taken a while to form, and Scott Steele's not going to bother working it all the way to the back of those legs. Harlequins has it for Ulster. Still a man down, remember, with Geordie Murphy in the bin. He'll be returning any minute now. Next breakdown, you suspect, as Marty Moore carries it up.
Back. Advantage offside.
Working that short side. Harlequins again. Playing with an advantage here, Ulster. Timoney crashing forwards. All day with that tackle. Cooney again. Here's Lowry. Darting through and looking to keep the ball alive. Not this time, but the ambition is there. And of course, with the buffer that Ulster have built, Rory, you'd expect that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was great to see them coming back down the short side, and that's where players like Michael Lowry come into their own. It looked like a really good Quins line, and what he's coming back looking for is one-on-ones with front rows. And as a front row, it is not a pleasant place to be with quick guys like Michael Lowry coming back down the blind side, almost eyeballing you.
My God, anyway.
Yeah, I can fully appreciate that. And he's got the footwork and the pace to make any number of different people look foolish.
No,
stunning try, wasn't it, that first half effort?
Yeah.
Herring for Ulster. Back with 15 men. Geordie Murphy's here, but that one's overthrown, and Lauday has it. Steele. Herring. Masike, the dummy runner. Lang firing it long. Lowry. Cross field, looking for the opening. Burns. Floated ball for Stockdale. Green makes the tackle. And that's gone forwards from McCluskey. Good pressure in the end, good hustle from Quins.
I can understand the passion, but I told you.
He's a character, isn't he? Rory, do you have some good dealings with him?
I actually didn't mind him. I think it probably stems back to the year we reached the Heineken Cup final. He refereed us in the quarter-final and the semi-final, which we both won. So you tend to get good memories of refs like that. And you know, the good thing about him is when you question about something, and if you point to the replay and you go, look, Rowan, that was clearly a knock on. He goes, look, Rory, you know, we are all humans, we make mistakes, and I made a mistake, I'll try my best the next time. And you go, well, fair enough.
Yeah. Well, it's so important to have that personal touch, isn't it? And we're never going to have automatons in charge. Well, I hope we don't. There may be some out there who hope that is something that we move towards, but if you want to have a referee on the field, you have to accept there are going to be faults and failings and quirks along the way as well.
Yeah, totally. Look, and they're human, and they're trying to do a job, and probably more recently they've been erring on the side of going up in their cautions rather than down like they used to, and that's because of the outside pressure. And I think we just got to, as a rugby, you got to try to support them as much as we can, and allow them to make decisions but also make mistakes.
So the scrum, an area that Quins have struggled a little bit.
Crutch.
A couple of scrums have gone awry.
Bind.
They've been feeling the pressure of this Irish pack. This time they've taken care of possession. It's there for Steele. Just beginning to creak. Lasike. I haven't seen really enough of Lasike on that short line. Perhaps for Harlequin supporters' liking. Heron. Green. Taken early by Balakoon. In goes Hume to try to rip possession as well, but Quinn still have it.
Stay there.
Forwards from Collier. Flat pass this time for Tizard. Green. Ross Chisholm is on the field. Heron. Tizard again. Luke Northmore is the man who's had to make way. Heron, Earl, a lot of earnest endeavour here from Quins, but they're not actually making headway up the pitch. Collier had to take that behind him, pops it out of the back, and it's gathered in by Tizard, who does a good tidying job. But Ulster committing to that breakdown and securing the turnover, and they'll be thrilled with that defensive effort, Rory, because a lot of phases from Quins. Ultimately, they've gone nowhere, and they may well be conceding points as a consequence.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's something that Ulster almost looked like they started half a little bit loose. You know, Billy over the top, Rob Balakoon threw one down from a kick, and I think this will really settle them now. A good defensive set. Ulster, some very good people over the ball, and Jordy Murphy got the penalty.
I think it's a hard balance, but sometimes when you're down by a fair few points, you feel like you should keep hold of the ball in and around your 10-metre, in your own half, when probably the best thing to do sometimes is just get some territory. Kick the ball down there, wait for an error from Ulster and get the ball. Maybe Harlequins a little bit guilty of playing from a little bit too deep there. Even though they are chasing the game, you don't want to chase it from your own half.
I guess the timing's significant as well, isn't it, here? Because 46 minutes in, you've still got an awful lot of time. If you start to find your feet, if it begins to click, Quins particularly a side that can score fast.
You never know, you never know. You get one, you might just get two, and then suddenly the game can change a little bit. So disappointing we gave away the penalty there. Ulster obviously going to kick to the corner, and I'd imagine you might see another more, Rory.
Yeah, it's funny you're talking about playing in the right areas. It's a skill that even the most senior teams struggle with at times. So when you're playing with a group of younger guys, you know, it's very hard. The temptation, like you say, is to try everything. But Ulster now will go into the corner, and they'll be eyeing another maul, and to get a good strong setup and put even more pressure on.
So a couple of changes have been made. Kerrod's on for Collier for Quins, and Izuchukwu on for Treadwell in the second row for Ulster. And here they go again, driving forwards at a rate of knots. Herring won't be giving up this one in a hurry, I suspect. In goes McCloskey. Has Kenningham got in amongst it? Quins have
two from the side.
Been pinged, and that is Elia, who Romain Poit has taken issue with.
Two from the
Harlequins
side.
at this point might take that decision for now. Might be just delaying the inevitable, but nevertheless, it was a means of stemming the flow. They've got to do it all over again now.
Yeah, Harlequins have got to get their body height down at the front of this maul. They can't let us get set and then get below them.
Timoney. Obstruction in the line out. And Quins breathe a hefty sigh of relief. That was the new man on the field.
Take place in a gap, not like the last one.
Izuchukwu making his European debut. The age of just 21, enormous man, 6'7". That's a fine clearance.
Yeah, great kick there from Brett Herron. Tight angle, but he's made it all the way to the halfway line. And maybe Quins needed a little bit of luck there on their own line. Ulster to just slightly go away from what's been going great for them with the penalty. Hopefully Quins can build a good attack here.
Taken by Hammond. Fizzed away. Lasike again. The target man. Lang assists with the clear out. This is Kenningham.
Knee on the ground.
Heron to Earl.
Back, Red, back.
Kenningham once more. He's being asked to do a lot of carrying. Jack Kenningham. Steele. Chisholm. Earl, and at the moment Ulster just handling everything that Quins are throwing at them really very effectively, absorbing everything. This time they've strayed offside, so Quins have an advantage. Flat pass for Kerrod to run onto. They will take that penalty and presumably pump it downfield for some territory.
The scrum guy, he calls himself, not the catching guy.
Is that right? So, all of those phases yielding very little in the way of upfield motion, but here the kick doing the job for them from the penalty, and
just in case.
They're contemplating a foray into the 22 from here.
Please back. 23, Brock.
Tizard, dummy runners round the front. Instead, it's to Lasike. Once more, Ulster working hard at the breakdown, committing men. Izuchukwu having a little dig, but it's there now, taken up by Hammond. Quins beginning to warm to their theme. Garcia Botta, look at the work of Timoney, has to give up that attempt at the jackal. Kenningham. Lang.
On feet,
Turns and presents nicely. Kerrod again. And Herring very nearly had that for himself. And it's gone forwards as a consequence of Herring's involvement.
Lost control forward. After a good read by Q.
Well, the defensive line, Rory, holding firm very effectively from Ulster.
Yeah, they look very well organised. They're getting off, they're making two-man hits, and they're being a bit of a menace at the breakdown. They're slowing things down, which is allowing them to get set, and it's just allowing them to keep applying pressure. And then see Rob Herring there just ripping the ball free, which resulted in the turnover, and they will look to exit as simply as they can.
All the quarterfinals in the European Champions Cup and indeed the Challenge Cup live on BT Sport next weekend. The game between the winner of this one and Northampton at Franklin's Gardens will be at 8 o'clock next Saturday night. But so many great matchups to look forward to. La Rochelle, Sale, Leinster, Exeter. Goodness, that's going to be something, isn't it? Clermont, Toulouse and Bordeaux Racing, the Champions Cup last 8. 2 all-French affairs in the quarterfinals of the top flight of Europe. Challenge Cup, Montpellier against Benetton, as we mentioned, Saints against either Quins or Ulster, and then Bath Irish and Leicester Newcastle. So the Gallagher Premiership side's well represented in the Challenge Cup. Champions Cup rather dominated by those French teams.
Stay up, no knee on the ground. You got up afterwards, after the engagement, but please no knee on the ground, okay? Even at the call, set call, okay?
Let's show it outside. Here we go, Simon with the name. Got you, Kenny.
So Simon Kerrod on the tight head now for Quins in place of Will Collier, taking on Eric O'Sullivan.
Fine. Set.
Well, this is one-way traffic at the moment at the set piece. Cooney. Stockdale tries to skip past Lang, who's having none of it. And Roman Platt is going to take us back to the scrum.
Okay. Loose head and tight head.
Rather concerning signs for the Quinn scrum down here at this point. 52 minutes in, looks like they've got no answer for this power at the moment.
Yeah, look, it's a really tough shift. It's a tough ask to ask young guys that probably haven't scrummaged an awful lot together to come together in a week and come up against a team that have gone, really well in the Pro 14, the team that relies on their pack, and a pack with a massive amount of dominance. So again, great experience it's going to be for some of these young guys. But yeah, hopefully we can get some parity there.
Pain today, growing tomorrow, hopefully. O'Sullivan feeds Herring. Lovely inside ball for Murphy. Here's Cooney. Clawed down by Elia, who did so well, quickly to his feet as Ulster pull forwards again. Stockdale dealt with by Nathan Earl very effectively, but at the moment Quins are having to put out fires pretty much all over the park.
Yeah, and I think you really see the impact that Daniel Soper's made over the last couple of years with Ulster. You see the handling ability of the forwards. It was exceptional. It was Sean Reedy back inside to Jordy Murphy. They offload to John Cooney, and then they're on the front foot. The ending wasn't exactly what they wanted, but they just need to keep doing that, because it's great to see the forwards interacting with the backs like that.
Well, we heard Ronan O'Gara talking the other night about KBA, keep ball alive, something that was drilled into the Crusaders side while he was working with them down in New Zealand, and certainly we're seeing some evidence of that here tonight from Ulster. Quins obviously love to employ that approach as well, flooding the channels with offloads. But here they're on defensive detail, and they're struggling to contain the red waves. McCluskey and onwards. Hume sets it up. Marty Moore. Burns. Timoney. No change out of Callaghan. Lovely delay on that pass from Billy Burns to Hume. He will one or two tackles as a consequence of that. Now there's a little bit of space for O'Connor. He shipped it away to Izuchukwu.
Advantage, not a clear release.
Harlequins giving up the penalty as well. Burns, McCluskey, crossfield, picked out beautifully, but running out of space.
Not a clear release by
Timoney. But all the tricks are beginning to come out of the bag.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like a bad injury to Cormac Izuchukwu, I think. Hopefully it's not too serious, because he's had a really big impact on the game so far. You just see when he carries, potentially just that knee goes from under him, but the medical staff are there. Hopefully they'll get him. He looks in quite a bit of pain.
It's really unfortunate for a young man making his European debut tonight. Played a lot of rugby with the Ireland Sevens programme. He's making good ground inside the 22 at this point.
It's not fair, a guy that big playing sevens, is it?
He came up in the summer, and the Ulster Academy guys were teaching him how to jump in the line out, and if you'd have seen him last July and August compared to what he is now, you would be shocked. The guys did an incredible job.
So you're saying what, he was a bit of a stick?
He was a bit of a stick, and he looked like his feet had never really properly left the ground before to be lifted. It was like, you know, in the forecourts of the petrol stations, the sort of inflatable things. That's what he looked like.
He looks like an incredible athlete, though.
Yeah, he's learned a lot in the last sort of 6-8 months, and it'd be a shame to see him going off now, because he has had some big impacts playing for Ulster A, and has a very, very bright future for him.
Well, that's a great shame. Matty Ray will come on to replace him, but Cormac Izuchukwu will play no further part. Do you remember Rugby X, Danny?
I do.
What was it? December a couple of years back. He was representing Ireland there, this man, and he was the top scorer.
I was
Rugby
coaching
X.
at Rugby X for the Barbarians.
Did you not notice him?
I did not. No. Probably because we were out before we started. We pretty much lost. We lost both our games, but I'll look out for it next year.
There you go. You were tunnel vision, obviously, at that point. Highly focused. Timoney supplies the line-out possession, and Herring this time might not be denied. He's got one tonight. There's his second. And Ulster are in cruise control at the Stoop. Easing into the quarterfinals of the Challenge Cup. That try number 5. And they lead now by 34 points to 7.
Yeah, again, great setup. It sort of seems like Groundhog Day at the minute, but I think from an Ulster point of view, it's something that maybe Ulster in the past have been lacking, is this sort of ruthless edge. You know, you would have seen them take the foot off the accelerator in games that they potentially had won at half-time. So, look, this is the strength. They're scoring points from it. So let's see, keep going to it and keep trying to put the pressure on and get more and more points. And that's what the top sides in Europe do. And that's, if Ulster want to be there, that's the attitude they've got to adopt.
Yeah, the ruthless edge will certainly serve them well as they move forwards in the competition. Through it goes. Took a bit of a bend once it had moved through the post, but Ulster now with a 31-point buffer, and Rob Herring, well, he's got 22 and a half minutes to nail the hat-trick, hasn't he?
Hopefully not,
Please,
Alistair.
Queens.
Hopefully not. Hopefully we're going to have the comeback of all comebacks in European rugby.
Here we go. It all starts here for Queens. Maybe they can apply a little bit of pressure outside that Ulster 22. Tom O'Toole onto the field at tight head. Oh, how well did Tyrone Green do to hold on to that? And the footwork is excellent in a very confined space. Elia. Goodness. Dumped in the tackle. Matty Ray. That's his first involvement.
It's with the feet.
Steele. Elia. They're trying so hard to find holes in this red wall. At the moment, there aren't any.
Back.
Lang. Working so effectively together, Ulster, so well connected in defence. Steele again. Held back this time for Herring. Here's Chisholm. A stuttering run, he's caught by Reedy.
Back, Red.
Once again, they're trapped in this area of the field between halfway and their 10-metre line. Phase after phase. Herring, the intercepts, Burns, sets off, and he won't be caught. Very unfortunate. Quins chasing the game, trying everything, trying to find something to unlock this defence, but Burns pouncing, and Ulster racing away with it.
Yeah, we said it before, it's a hard situation. You're on your own 10, you're trying to force things, and unfortunately Brett Herring's just forced a pass there. Billy Burns, his opposite number, with the intercept. There was some space in the backfield, and you're kind of hoping that maybe the 9s and 10s see it and put the ball down there, but understandably Quins are going to try things. They're going to throw the ball around to try and get something out of this game, but Billy Burns has just picked one off there.
No, sorry, not for you.
It's very difficult to know exactly the policy that should be adopted, Danny. I mean, we spoke before about perhaps being a little bit more pragmatic, a little deeper into the contest. You know, again, still got 20 minutes on the clock, but as coaches, the likes of Jerry Flannery, Adam Jones, Nick Evans, are they going to be wanting to see those sorts of floated passes from Brett Herring at this point from that position on the field, because they want to encourage that ambition and that adventure still? Or will they be saying, look, come on, let's be a little bit more pragmatic about operations?
Yeah, I think there needs to be a bit of both. You need to play when it's the right time to play, but if there's not a lot on and you're not really going anywhere, give the forwards a break. Stop letting them run into brick walls. Wait for your opportunity to counter-attack like when Tyrone Green gets his hand on the ball.
Wow, that is a serious punch up the middle from Tyrone Green. Great acceleration. Here's Tapuai. He's on now in the midfield. Lauday. Herring is there. Steele looking to smuggle it away to Nathan Earl. Quick ball at least to work with here. Chisholm. Lang. Kerrod.
Tackle now! Back.
Lauday. Herron. Tapuai. George Head stopped in his tracks. He's replaced Elia at hooker. And 30 metres back behind the gain line. This is pretty much where Tyrone Green took off from the last time.
Leave red!
Such is the strength of this watertight Ulster defence. Canningham. Alan O'Connor manhandling him.
Red!
White. Nice line cut by Tizard. A little bit of ground gained. Front foot. Herron. Slammed again in the tackle. Lang. Hammonds to Chisholm. 14, 15 phases.
Stay safe!
Perhaps some space in the backfield to exploit. Lowry, the only man covering back there. Steele. It'll dink over the top. A change of picture at least. Picked up by Cooney though.
You try to roll, but wrong way. You impact number 9.
Roman Poit has awarded them a penalty regardless. They're just in danger of blowing themselves out here, Harlequins, aren't they? Phase after phase, and
6.
It's so physical all the time. Such hard yards.
6 wins.
This was exceptional from Green.
6, please.
Yeah, this is what Tyrone Green does incredibly well.
At the breakdown.
He punches well above his weight.
Okay,
He backs
even
himself.
if
His
he
footwork really late to the line makes the defender's job so much harder. Quinn's retaining the ball really well there, but not really going an awful lot of way. So that's where there probably is space in the backfield, or maybe space to try something, try an offensive kick, try a crossfield kick, try a bomb, just to create a little 50-50.
Please, red.
I guess the variety is the thing, isn't it? At this point, just ask one or two different questions, because they've been asking the same one repeatedly, and by and large getting the same answer.
Back red.
Here they are, camped inside the 22.
Yeah.
That's George Head, his European debut. Lauday for Tapuai. Steele. Again, these tackles are thunderous.
Leave 20.
Good drive from Steele.
Use
He's
it.
not lost any of his impetus
Advantage 18. 12
or his
outside.
enthusiasm. Lauday wrestling forwards.
Especially now with the penalty advantage, Ali. This is a perfect opportunity for Quinns to try something, play with some tempo, try and offload.
Lauday into Herring. He's very close. Kerrod waiting. Steele. And they drive forwards. Canningham. Has he got that down? Roman Poit was unsighted at the time.
I think it is. Yeah,
Jack Canningham's pretty convinced he's got that down on the line.
On-field decision is
If he says he scored, he scored. Let's just give him it.
Please review the grounding, but
Yeah, let him play on.
on-field
Let's
decision,
go.
I saw the ball on the line.
Well, it might not matter in the
Vérifie le
general
toucher
scheme of
parce que
things
moi,
tonight
je vois
as
le
regards
ballon
the
sur la ligne.
result.
Et on vérifie la décision de terrain, c'est essai.
But I think we can be fairly sure it might mean quite a lot to Jack Canningham.
Là, pour moi, on voit pas le ballon. Là, hop,
He's got a face for the post.
I'm not sure why he didn't just set the ball at the
pour
base
l'instant,
of
il
the
n'y a
post.
aucune
Might have
image
been
qui
easier
me
for him.
montre peut-être là.
There's no lost. There's no lost.
Là non plus, on voit le ballon au sol, mais je vois pas la ligne.
Okay.
Oui.
Dennis
Je voulais
Granouillet.
juste vérifier s'il n'y a pas de perte de contrôle. There's no lost control, then we can award the try and stick to the initial decision, which was try and feed.
Ok.
Okay, happy with that? Adam? Amish? Okay. It's a try. Yeah.
So happiness for Harlequins finally.
Lost control, that's a try, boys.
And something for Jack Cunningham to take away from tonight on his European debut. Try for the 21-year-olds. And that will presumably give Quins just a little bit of a fillip. Goodness knows they need one right now, Rory.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Danny sort of touched on it. You know, they've got to try to play a little bit differently. I'd like to see the forwards maybe linking a little bit more. I think the backs have got to stay more connected to the forwards. Even if they're carrying, if Brett Heron or Capoe can sit in behind it, at least takes the interest of the Ulster defence and maybe leaves a slightly softer shoulder.
Ian Madigan's with us. He's come on for Burns. Tell you what, Matty Ray seems turbocharged since his arrival. He's obviously been a frustrated man on the bench. Lowry fires it wide. Reedy in the 15-metre channel. Oh, he's done Nathan Earl. All ends up.
Stay, Quins!
Albie Mathieson on it. Scrum half as well for Ulster. Two new halfbacks. And powering forwards now is Hume. Inside ball is a good one, and Mathieson arrives on the field, touches down under the posts. And that is their 7th this evening.
Yeah, that's going to be a disappointing one for Quins to dissect. Just got too high on the outside and didn't catch up well enough on the inside, and Albie Mathieson doing what every scrum half does as he comes on. That cheat line, the support line on the inside, dots it down under the sticks, but Quins will be desperately disappointed to let one in that easy.
James Hume just coming out the bag, he looked like he was going to try to sail one over the top, and he saw the two front rows who have come on to try to make an impact, and he went through that gap and was very alert to turn back inside to the scrum half.
50's up. Madigan taking it to the line, and Hume ever alert, good vision. And Mathieson can hardly believe it's been that simple, really. So, Danny, you had two choices tonight. You could have pleaded with the coaching staff to play, and you could be looking at a 50-point thumping and a very bruised Monday morning. Or you could be up here with us, discussing the woes of Harlequins in Europe. I'm not quite sure which you would have chosen had you had the option and known what was going to unfold.
Unfortunately, I had a bit of a niggle this week, Ali, so I wasn't able to be selected.
I thought you might. Was that a Monnier niggle?
Oh, no, not as bad as that. To be fair, these are the only games he played in home games.
Overextended.
So a penalty for Ulster just outside their 22. Sean Reedy receiving a little bit of treatment. And we can welcome the 20-year-old Matas Jurvicius onto the field.
Balance and go forward.
Never have Harlequins needed a man of this sort of name quite in the way that they do now.
Okay, 6.
First team debut, come through the ranks at London Scottish in the Championship, and Danny, you say he's got something about him.
Yeah, it's brilliant for Matas. This kid, as soon as he came into the squad, he works hard, he grafts day in, day out, and he probably hasn't played a game of rugby for well over a year, pushing probably a year and a half. So amazing to see him get a first team debut and a European debut. Let's hope he gets his hands on the ball and he goes and hits a few people.
Live up to the name now. 12 minutes to play.
Stay as you are, Queens. Please come in, red.
Herring's got unfinished business. A brace this evening. Love to add to that, no doubt. Claim a European hat-trick. Taken in by O'Connor. Far away, Mathewson is there. Madigan. Carried up by O'Toole. Stockdale. McElroy wearing 23 on this left-hand touchline. The youngster, just 20 years old. Ulster though knocking on in the 22. And this is Thabon Bhatti. One of the more experienced campaigner in Queen's ranks. Jack Stafford has replaced Scott Steele as well. He's got the ball away.
Just make sure you're on side.
Another first-team debutant. Danny, tell us about Jack Stafford.
Yeah, Munster boy. Jerry brought him in. He came on a trial and performed really well. Again, an incredibly hard-working young lad, always eager to learn, incredibly competitive. He loves it in training. He mixes it with the bigger lads as well. So yeah, great to see Jack get his opportunity.
McCluskey going wide, Balakhoon taking on Tyrone Green. Inside ball is a good one to Stockdale. That's gone forwards, presumably from McElroy. Has it? No. Ramapot is happy. And Sean Reedy touches down for yet another score for Ulster.
I
think it looked like maybe a knockback by the Harlequins player. To see the replay of that with Sean Reedy, like any good back rower, trailing in the inside and there to snaffle up the ball, whether it's to stop Harlequins counter-attacking or whether to pick up and score.
Non, regarde, il y a un ralenti. Mais là, je vois pas qui envoie le ballon devant.
So was that the hand of Lang as opposed to Ethan McElroy?
Attends, je regarde, là il y en a un qui va m'apparaître. Mais non, il s'est arrêté.
That's the idea from the officials at this point. This should be the angle that will give us the answer to that. I think it was James Lang, wasn't it?
On va check, monsieur.
Please.
Yeah. Fingertip touch from the Scotland international. And Reedy chasing hard.
Or backwards by
running in Ulster's 8th.
Queens.
Yeah.
Until decision that was backed. Thanks. Adam, in live.
Have we arrived at our decision? I thought we'd arrived at our decision.
Okay, on-field decision is try, but check if there is a...
Voilà, regarde. Là, peut-être sur celle-là. Ouais, pour moi, c'est le noir qui l'envoie dans son
It's not entirely clear as to whether it is also off Ethan McElroy's hand.
We stick on off-field decision. That's a try because from our view, on-field 13 Queens, backward the ball, and we stick. Okay, that's a try. 13, play back.
We stick.
Thank you, Lily.
So Reedy with his second of the night.
The referee never trusts someone.
57 points to 14 after 70 minutes. And Ulster just having a run of things here, Rory.
Yeah, it was a really nice move. It's good to see Rob Balakhoon going on the outside. There's nothing you'd like to see better than wingers just having a proper go at it and then looking to keep the ball alive, and Jacob Stockdale breaking the tackle and also keeping the ball alive.
Backwards!
Backwards from Balakhoon this time. Reedy again drops onto the ball. Timoney.
Stay, Quint.
Madigan. With a look from McCluskey. Inside now for Hume. Mathewson. Carried up by O'Toole. Madigan. Stockdale. Now then, Harlequins can really open up here. Looks to go around the outside. Great tackle made by Tyrone Green. I tell you what, he's making a great fist of this audition in the fullback shirt. Tyrone Green, even in very testing circumstances. Herring to Hume. Tackle made by Earl. Tackler not rolling away, so the advantage with Ulster as Andy Warwick tries to hop over the bodies. Madigan, McCluskey, Harlequin again. Show of the ball, just to suck in those defenders. Matty Ray, that's gone forward. Did that go forwards? And he got the ball away, seemingly.
Advantage not releasing.
Murphy from a standing start. Still with an advantage. Madigan to McElroy. Ray. Goodness, these are troubling times for Quins. They've had to make an absolute mountain of tackles. Stockdale and, well, Hume was on the outside waiting for it, and that's a disappointing end ultimately, but of course, always with the advantage in the pocket.
Yeah. Okay. Falling in the wrong side and holding on.
Madigan into the corner. Danny,
please.
can I know this is a painful evening for you, I'm sorry.
Okay.
But what is it you can say or do at this point, if you happen to be on the field, if you're a senior man and you're on the end of an absolute pounding, what do you say to those whose shoulders might just be beginning to drop, or indeed have dropped at this point?
Yeah, look, I think you've got to take it for what it is, what it looks like. It looks like a team that's played a lot of rugby together versus a team that has been put together in a week, you know. So, but that's the decision that the club made to go with this weekend, and it's given some lads their first opportunity to play in the Harlequin shirt. Although it's going to be in a big defeat, but they're up against a very, very good side, a side that plays normally top-level European rugby and competes with the very, very best. So these young boys who've made their first starts or first opportunity for a while can be proud of their efforts tonight, and I think that's the thing. Let's go out and enjoy the last 5 minutes.
Here's James Lang. Not the 26th birthday that he would have envisioned, I suspect. Spent most of his night trying to shut down those unrushing players in red. So Brett Herron will bite off a little bit of territory to ease their pain at the moment. Harlequins and Rory, it's time for our Heineken star of the match.
Yeah, look, I think from a Harlequins point of view, obviously they've been well beaten, but I thought Lauday and Green especially have tried hard, and they've shown some moments. But from an Ulster point of view, it's Sean Reedy. I think that scoring the try, but he's been involved in everything, handling over the breakdown, working really, really hard. He's been in a really good form this season, and it's great to see him on again another big stage, turning up.
Stafford to Herron. Nice from Earl. Strong from Earl. Then held by McCluskey and Hume. The centres tried to effect that choke tackle. Stafford wants it. Look at the ball.
If you look after the ball, you can play.
Stafford gets it away to Hammond.
It's up to you if you want to play slow ball.
I think we'll just let Roman quite commentate, shall we? It's probably easier. Probably better as well. Here's Kerrod. Stafford to Herron. It's very static. Just can't help but feel there needs to be a little bit more lively injection of pace earlier in the movement Barty's done well. Heron now attacking the line, bringing in Jordan Else.
Bit of Fijian flair, that's what we needed, huh?
This is what we were going after.
Text the ball.
Here's Chisholm. Head, Green. Stand out tonight, Tyrone Green. Barty. Stafford. Heron. Tapuai, a little bit lateral, but nicely smuggled onwards to Earl. A penalty given up from the arm sliding up in the tackle. That's a little bit loose from George Hammond, but they have that penalty. So they're finishing with a good deal of resolve, Harlequins, and it's frankly the least you would expect and indeed ask of them at this point. It's been a horrible night for the home side. But at least here, with the last 3 minutes of the match, they can try to thread together a meaningful attack and nail down their third try of the night.
Line and wing.
George Head.
Sir, 2 meters.
Taking his time, and that served him really very effectively. Carroll has his arms wrapped onto it. George Head now has it. His head powering towards the line, stopped just short. Still the commitment from Ulster, total. Defending their line. They won't manage to defend that. Let's touch the line. And it's Jordan Else who pops up with it. So 3 for the night. And a little statement of defiance to close their evening for Quins.
Yeah, I think Quins deserved the try there. Some great play previously. Tex Cavabati, again, a guy who's had to wait his time. Hasn't had a game of rugby in a long old time, but getting his hands on the ball, running hard, denting the line, and making Ulster make big tackles. And I think Jordan Earl's just showing his power near the line there. Very tough to stop the big guy from that close.
Yeah, I think the build-up to that, to get the penalty, it showed what Quins can do in the play with speed, a little bit less structure, put a bit of pressure on Ulster. I know I've been talking a lot about pressure tonight, but that's what it's about. They get the penalty, and that gets the field position, and you say the power after that.
57-21. Scoreline just looking a tiny bit less grisly. Jordan Else having enough about him. It's across the whitewash. Only a handful of Premiership starts and a relatively rare European outing for a man who joined from Ealing.
Here we go.
Final minute then.
Use it, Quins!
Stafford. A little bit of miscommunication. There's that Fijian flair again. Where's it going to end up, though? It might result in another Ulster score. Everyone's at it now. They're just lobbing it wherever it happens to be. It's pretty chaotic. Zero shape or structure at this current point in time, but it is 79 minutes and 40 seconds in a match that disappeared long ago. Stafford, Barty. Has gone forwards. And on account of that whistle blowing on 79:58, I think we're going to have a scrum. That's enough, says Roman Poit. And I think that's probably a wise decision. Ulster thoroughly dominant tonight. And in their first time in the Challenge Cup, they have served notice of their intentions in this competition. 8 tries this evening. They will play Saints at Franklin's Gardens in the quarter-finals next weekend. It was always going to be a very, very tough night for Quins with their selection. Full time at the Stoop. Harlequins 21, Ulster 57.
I think Ulster will be very pleased with the tries they've scored. I think the Irish internationals coming back in, Rod Herring, Billy Byrne, Jacob Stockdale, all at big games. They need those big players if they're going to keep progressing in this championship. And yeah, the ruthless nature. Jared Payne will probably be a little bit disappointed to concede 21 points because they'll want to keep pushing on to be the best they can be. They're going to need to be better next week, but I think a really, really good outing for Ulster.
Danny,
yeah,
what more can you add? Can you add any more, frankly, to what's already gone?
Yeah, look, I think I've said it quite a lot tonight, and it's not to excuse the, to lose 57-21 at home isn't acceptable, but it's been a really tough ask for this group of players. A lot of players not available today through selection or coaches' picks. And this group of young lads, I think, can be proud of their efforts. Some guys making the first appearances for Harlequins. I know it's not the one that they'd have liked. I know it's not the birthday that James Lang would have liked. But they can hold their heads high. They fought to the end. They got the try at the end, which shows some character. They'll have a week off next week and then fly back into the Premiership.
Yeah, and that's significant, isn't it? Because this is a season that is very congested. It's been concertinaed, squeezed in. And so any week where the players can take a little bit of a breather, nurse a few bumps and bruises and come back hopefully stronger for a really significant assault on the Gallagher Premiership is something to, I think, embrace at this stage for Harlequins. But for Ulster, really a commanding display. They took an early lead and they went from strength to strength. Great stuff from Dan McFarlane's side. 21 points to 57. And our challenged man of the match, Sean Reedy, is with Sonia.
Well, congratulations, Sean. That was a dominant display. Would we say Ulster are a motivated team to win some silverware?
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, the Pro 14 final was a couple of weeks ago and was pretty gutted missing out on that. So this is another challenge that we can really take with two hands, and the first step was tonight.
How frustrated were you, and are you channeling that into this competition now that you didn't get a chance to go into those playoffs?
Yeah, well, that's all you can do considering the circumstances this year. So we've just got to channel our energy, as you said, positively into these performances, and it started here tonight. So credit to the guys. We put down a pretty dominant platform there, and pretty happy with the result. Yeah.
You did. It wasn't much change Quinn's side, but you still scored 8 tries away from home. How pleasing is that?
Yeah, it was awesome. Credit to Quins. They kept coming all night. We know the turnaround they've had in the last few months in the Premiership. They're playing some awesome rugby, so we knew it was going to be a challenge. And yeah, just credit to all the boys, and the boys that weren't here tonight is also prepping us for these games. Yeah. It
was a really dominant display by a pack that you were involved with. But I wonder, when Michael Lowry scored that brilliant try, you're all just sitting back going, that's pretty good.
Yeah. It's one of those ones you just sit back and admire, don't you? He's a class footballer, and hopefully we get plenty more of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well done to you. Congratulations.
Cheers. Thank you.